Swami, your students are very privileged to get some of your time to answer questions about what your teachings are and what your books are, and I've got you all to myself. So I'm going to ask my first question based on the fact that in the old edition of this book, the former one, it says that the book was written to bridge the gap between orthodox yogic beliefs and the Western concept of religion. And I'm wondering, how did you choose the title? What was your thinking in choosing Why Am I?
Well, what's the question that you normally ask?
What am I?
What am
Who
I?
am I?
Who am I? These are the questions that people ask me all the time. And I find that a very restrictive sort of question. But if you say, why am I? That opens up a whole universe to you. And it's not restricting anymore.
Yes.
Why am I? So I find that what am I or why am I here is not enough for me. I want to know why am I.
Indeed, indeed.
So
as you speak, it's opening up the mind. Following on from that, in order to practice your yoga, samatha yoga, would one have to be a Hindu?
Well, actually, you can't be a Hindu. Just say, I want to be a Hindu, and we're all of a sudden a Hindu. We can paint our faces and put on a sari or any sort of garb, but you have to actually be born into a caste to be a Hindu.
Right.
So you have to be born into a caste. You have to have the rituals of the caste. And it's a very interesting, if you go into the caste system in India, it's so fascinating, so interesting, and I must say so organised. So, but failing that, you can't be a Hindu.
Yes, it seems quite distant from our Western thinking, the caste system. So
yeah, if you really don't know it, it's almost saying, oh, this isn't right, you shouldn't be doing something like this. But that's the way that they've had it since they began, the Hindustan.
And following on from that, can one benefit from this yoga without having a belief in God?
Well, I think you can, but, what do you think God is? I mean, there's got to be some creative energy in the universe, some point where it all began. Even if you listen to Stephen Hawkins or you go into metaphysics, let's not talk about religion or any sort of special way of life or modality. But if you start to think about it, something must have begun. There had to be a beginning.
Yes.
Or perhaps there's no beginning and no end. It's endless. So it doesn't really matter if you don't believe in God as a little man sitting up there with his pencil and paper saying tick, cross, tick, cross.
Yes.
But if you believe there's some sort of creative energy that permeates the entire universe. And God's an English nickname sort of thing, isn't it, really?
A symbol?
Yes, exactly.
Shorthand, something like that. The metaphysics of yoga are hard to grasp.
Yes, they are.
And they're also very hard to grasp without getting bogged down in the many deities, the subtle nuances of what we think about as reality, the many names of the Creator. Can a student progress without a good understanding of these things?
Well, a good understanding of the metaphysics or... Well, actually, I was taught by my guru metaphysics, but he always explained it all in Sanskrit. At the time, I had no idea what he was talking about. So, my knowledge was very hard to gain. But metaphysics are, but I think if you get bogged down, I think, what you're thinking about really are all the deities and all the different names of the deities and things like that. But if you actually think to yourself, look, these deities had begun thousands of years ago for a pastoral people. Right. So they had the god of the good harvest and the god of this and the god of, our god of the good harvest most likely here is Safeway or Aldi or Coles New World. But you have to think about, different aspects of ourselves. This is actually the basis of it all. It's the aspects of yourselves. There's the deity like Ganesh to remove obstacles. You have to remove the obstacles. So there's an aspect of you that needs to remove the obstacles and get rid of them. You need rituals in your life. So there's an aspect of you that must give you discipline and order. So if you look at it like that, it's much easier.
And it's in English.
It's in English. It's much easier in English.
So this is really the key that you're talking about, to unlock and make sense of this enormous body of knowledge that comes from a culture that we have no experience of. And God has 1,000 names, it's said. And how many faces or layers are there to God?
Well, how many faces have you got? How many faces? How many faces and aspects do I have? How many layers do I have? I was a child. I was actually a baby. Then I was a child. I was a teenager. I was a young mother. I was a wife. Now I'm a widow. Now I'm a grandmother. I was a daughter, and now I'm no longer a daughter. You see, these are all different aspects of me, and so there's different aspects, can't even say the word anymore. You look at God in different ways. I have a friend in India who sometimes God she really loves, and sometimes she's not talking to him. And this is a great relationship, because it's something we need to have with our Creator. Because although we're not talking to some universal God as such, perhaps, but if we could keep God in our heart and get to know ourselves and know God, that's the whole mystery unraveled.
And perhaps we get some insight into why we are here and why we are.
And that's why I wrote all these stories in Why Am I? So that you understand the story somehow will show you this is the way, this happens to everyone.
So in a way you're saying that we're getting to know ourselves in the process, in trying to find God?
Yes. Throw away the conditioning, change of attitude. It's all necessary for the spiritual path.
And it's also said that samsara, this life that we lead, this wheel where we live and die and live and die, and even as you say, as an infant you die, then you're a child, then you're a young woman, and so on and so on. Samsara is painful.
Yes. I asked this question of my guru many years ago, and he said to me, well, what are you worried about? Every night you die. And every day you come alive. Every morning you wake up, you come alive again. So I thought, well, he said, so that's all happening all the time. These are cycles that happened all the time. And we never complain about our physical life when everything's going right. When we're in love, when we've just got a promotion in our job, we think, oh, the world is really great, the sun is shining, I'm going to the beach, or I'm going fishing, or whatever you're going to do. But when things go wrong, I don't like this life.
No, that's
it's
right.
not good to me. I really hate it. No, here you have the good and the bad. And here you have to get out of every good some little touch of bad. Some lesson. On every bad, you must find the good. So you put that together, then you have the answer to samsara, the wheel of birth and death.
Yeah. And if somewhere in the book it says that we should be grateful for our physical existence. But one tends to remember how painful it is. So why should we be grateful?
Why not? Because you're living.
Does not everybody live?
What, everybody that's born
No,
lives?
I mean,
I'm not quite sure about that. No, I think you have to see it as it really is. You have to stand back and not say, oh me, or poor me, or poor me. You have to stand back and say, why is all this happening to me? Why do I have all these actions around me? Why do I keep doing the same thing over and over again? Is there something I'm missing?
Patterns.
Yeah, and then you have to go in and sort of right yourself and say, no, I'm here to strengthen your free will, but actually strengthen your nature, your sense of identity, and so that you can really evolve. It's not just, here I am and oh, poor me. No, you have to really get on with it.
So there is an evolution in the process.
Yes. I remember when I was ill a few years ago, and the doctors told me I would be paralyzed from the neck down. Oh well. And I thought, well, if I am, then I think that's my destiny, and so I will have to work with that, and I will have to find something good about that. What can be good about that? And because I couldn't move, and I started to laugh because I thought, well, you know, I'm always moving my hands and I'm always moving around and I'm always talking. What happens if I couldn't do any of that anymore? Oh, that'd probably be, you know, my worst nightmare. But I would certainly learn something out of it. And I mean, if that's my destiny, that's my destiny. You see?
And is there an alternative to this physical existence, this wheel of life?
Only if you jump off. Only if you get the secrets and you can get off. Wow, it's in the Read the Book.
Read the book, okay. Finally, Swami, if you have only one piece of advice for an aspiring student of yoga, what would it be?
Abhyasa. This is practice. Practice. Don't give up. You know, and just keep practicing, keep doing it, and someday, all of a sudden, it will, from within, you'll find everything changes for you. You know, the sun shines differently. Even the trauma in your life is different. So practice, steady practice, and remain within your, that's more than one word, isn't it? Remain within your chosen modality. Be good at what you can be, but do the best that you can at whatever you choose.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.